All right, everyone, let's get straight to it. We're focusing on pediatric pneumonia today. Key information for you, the healthcare providers listening.
That's right. The goal here is simple. Pull out the essential stuff you need on admission, complications, and prognosis. Fast and practical.
Exactly. Stuff you can use right away.
Yeah.
So let's start with admission. What are the big red flags telling you a child needs to be in the hospital?
Well, first off, look for clear signs of respiratory distress. Things like grunting, that sound they make, nasal flaring, retractions where the chest pulls in, just generally working much harder to breathe. Those are really key visual cues.
Okay, visual cues. And what other numbers? Oxygen levels.
Right. Hypoxemia. If you see oxygen saturation at or below, say, 90 to 92% on room air, that's a pretty strong signal for needing admission.
90 to 92%. Got it.
Right.
Are certain ages automatically higher risk?
Oh, absolutely. Very young infants, younger than 90 days old, or even those between 3 to 6 months, particularly if you suspect it's bacterial pneumonia.
They're just more vulnerable, right?
Exactly. Their systems are still developing.
What if the child just can't keep fluids or medicine down?
That's another clear indicator. If they can't tolerate taking things orally, whether it's food, fluids, or their medication, they really need inpatient support.
Makes sense. And what if you've tried antibiotics outpatient and it's just not working?
Failure of outpatient therapy is definitely a reason to admit. Also, if you're thinking tuberculosis or maybe a more virulent kind of pathogen.
And underlying health problems, I assume they matter a lot.
They really do. Kids with chronic conditions, think sickle cell, cystic fibrosis, or anyone immunocompromised, they're at higher risk. Pneumonia often means hospitalization for them.
What about specific findings, like on a chest x-ray?
Yeah, if you see something like a Parapneumonic effusion that's fluid buildup, or Empyema, which is pus,
right,
that generally means admission. And, severe distress might require chest therapy, maybe even ventilation support. Large effusions often need drainage, too.
Okay, that covers admission triggers really well. Now, complications.
Right.
What should you be on the lookout for?
Well, within the chest itself, common problems are things like empyema, pleural effusion, sometimes a lung abscess, or even necrotizing pneumonia, which is serious tissue damage.
And systemic issues beyond the lungs.
Yeah, you can see things systemically, too. Sepsis is a big one, dehydration, obviously, but also arthritis, meningitis, even hemolytic uremic syndrome in some cases.
Wow, quite a range. Any other direct lung issues?
Pneumothorax is possible, air leaking around the lung.
And if you suspect viral pneumonia, but the child isn't getting better.
That's a key point. If they're not improving, as you'd expect with viral pneumonia, you have to strongly consider a secondary bacterial infection kicking in and treat that.
Good point.
Right.
Okay, let's shift to the overall outlook. Prognosis. How do most kids do with pneumonia?
The good news is for most children, the prognosis is actually very good. Especially with viral pneumonia, it often just resolves on its own without specific treatment.
That's reassuring. Are there usually long-term problems afterwards?
Thankfully, no. Long-term effects after pediatric pneumonia are pretty rare. Most children recover completely. But are there specific types of pneumonia that are, let's say, more worrying?
Yes, definitely. Staphylococcal pneumonia, for instance, and also varicella pneumonia, they tend to have less favorable outcomes. And tuberculosis, if it's not treated, carry a high risk of progressing.
Which kids face the biggest challenges overall?
The toughest prognosis is really for immunocompromised children. And, this ties into the global picture. Around 3 million children die from pneumonia each year worldwide. 3 million. That's staggering.
It is. And it's important context that the majority of those children also have other serious underlying issues. Congenital heart disease, immunosuppression, chronic lung disease from prematurity, things like that.
So we've covered the key signals for admission, the potential complications to watch for, and the general prognosis. Having this specific knowledge ready is so useful for your day-to-day decisions.
It really highlights paying attention to those risk factors we talked about.
Absolutely. So thinking about everything we've just discussed, the range of severity of the different risk factors, how does this shape your approach when you first assess a child you suspect might have pneumonia? And how does it guide your management plan right from the start?